Well, hello everybody. I am getting started with the soup of the week here. I told you that I had been making soup pretty often on Mondays, and so I wanted to start out my videos with the soup if I've made one. So this week is minestrone soup. So you can see here that was my ground beef cooking away. Now I have got that drained and I'm going to start building this soup. All right, I had some fresh tomatoes that needed to be used. And so those are diced and into the pot. And I also had just a few of these multicolored like cherry tomatoes that also needed to be used. So I washed those up and into the pot they go. Waste not, want not. So I try to find a way to use anything that I have and not let anything go bad. That is always my goal. All right, I've got some diced onion here. That's also going to go into the pot. Now we are going to add in a bit more tomato product. So a can of petite diced tomatoes and a whole can of tomato paste, and then our dry seasoning. So I'm going in with a couple tablespoons of Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper. All right, I'm going to get some carrot chopped up here for the soup. Basically, a minestrone soup is like an Italian vegetable soup. I don't make minestrone very often. I usually make more of the pasta fagioli or pasta fagioli soup, which basically translates to pasta and beans. So it's just a less vegetable style soup than the minestrone soup. So I had in mind minestrone. I actually heard my father-in-law say a few days before that they had had some really delicious minestrone soup, and that kind of stuck in my mind. And this is actually family night that I'm making this for. So instead of making this soup on Monday, I made it on Tuesday, most of it, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. And then I finished it on Wednesday for family night, but Tuesday was kind of my prep work in the kitchen day, and so I love soups almost better the second day, so I wanted to make the bulk of this soup the day ahead. So, like I said, I'll tell you what I did to finish it on the next day, and then also linked below will be a recipe similar to what I used. If you all have been here for long, you know I don't follow a recipe to the T, hardly ever. I just adapt it to what I have on hand or what I need to use or so on and so forth. I know you do the same in your kitchen, but I'll have a recipe below very similar to what I used. All right, I've added in some fresh garlic, a can of kidney beans, a can of green beans, and I'm going to add a can of cannellini beans the following day because I needed to pick those up from the grocery store. All right, this is now the next day. My soup has been in the refrigerator overnight. I did not heat it after I fried up the ground beef and drained it and added all this in. I did not heat anything. I basically mixed it, put it in the fridge. So now I'm moving it to my crock pot because I want this to just stay on low all day long and do its thing. Now I'm going to add in the broth, the beef broth for this recipe. I didn't need to do that the day before. That needs to go in now when I'm putting this all in my crock pot. So I'm going to add in my beef broth, and this is just going to simmer all day. I'm going to add in those cannellini beans after I get back from the grocery store. All right, now it's moving on to the beef broth. This is what I'm using, and I had just about what I needed in the bottom of this little jar that it comes in. So I just added the water directly to that and used that as my little vehicle to keep adding the water there, the broth into my soup. So just filling this up and adding it in. I also off camera added in later towards the end of the day when it was about time to serve. We added in some chili powder. James actually suggested that. He felt like it needed a little something in the way of seasoning. So I did not show adding that in, but that's what you need to do when you're cooking. Taste, see if something needs to be adjusted, see if you need to add a little bit more of something. That's how you end up getting a delicious recipe. Just add in what you need when you feel like it needs it. Now, for the rest of the meal for family night, what I was really wanting was Italian nachos. That's what I was really hungry for. So the soup, when my father-in-law said that, I was like, yes, that's going to go along with it. It's going to be great Italian feast, and it was. So in my skillet here, this is one large boneless skinless chicken breast. I have just diced that up, and I am frying that up in some oil. And I have showed making Italian nachos on my channel a couple of times before. It is literally one of my all-time favorite foods. I love it so, so much. So I'll link below a couple different videos showing me making them before on my channel. But what I'm doing here, you want to buy a package of these egg roll wraps, these wonton wraps, and you just cut them up into fours there to where you have these triangles. So this is going to be the chip portion of the Italian nachos. So you basically just need a hot skillet with hot oil. You're going to fry these up. It takes a little bit of time to get them fried up. You do not walk away from the skillet or they will burn. And you just have to find the right temperature on your skillet and your oil. You don't want it too hot, but you want it hot enough to where you're not standing here forever. So basically you just fry these up. I lay out a tea towel on my counter and I just move them to the tea towel so they start draining as they are done. You're just going to keep frying them till you get them all done. And like I said, you want them crispy like a chip, but you don't want them too overdone, so it's just a matter of watching them, turning them, staying right here with it until you get them all fried up.
I'm walking around feeling free, thinking about what's happened to me.
Could have added this ditalini pasta directly to my crock pot. Several of the recipes said to do so, but I don't know, I prefer cooking pasta on the stove. I just feel like I like it better that way. So I'm cooking up my ditalini pasta to add to the soup in the crock pot. And then this is my jarred Alfredo sauce. I'm going to heat that, and that's going to top the nachos. So delicious. And then now off camera, I had browned up a skillet of Italian sausage, 1 pound. And then I just added my chicken back into that, and that is also a topping for these nachos. You see where we're going here. I'm sorry the camera is awfully shaky there, but I wanted to show you these sweet and hot jalapeno peppers from Trader Joe's. If you haven't tried those are so good. We are new to those. Like, this is our second or third jar, but we just started buying those a few months ago, and we are just going through them. They are so good. Okay. Now it's time to assemble these Italian nachos. So I have my largest cookie sheet, which is a really, really big one. I just put some foil down, and then I am just going in on top of these chips with all of the toppings. So Alfredo sauce, then you put your meat mixture, which when you order these at Johnny Carino's, you can get just chicken, I think, or maybe just the sausage, or you can get a combo. I always get a combo, so when I make it at home, I want both the chicken and the sausage. And then you just continue with the yummy stuff. It has mozzarella cheese, it has Parmesan cheese, the peppers, black olives. So I'm just going to build this here and show you how these all come together. Then you put it in the oven, let it bake to get that cheese melted on the top. So, so good.
Don't know how. Lately I've come to realize that I can see it in your eyes, so it's true. I'm so glad you feel it too. Nothing to hide, we're falling in love. To me it's perfectly clear, we're falling in love. It's true, this part of the year has something in store for us. We're falling in love. Summer ended, but we did not. We started something. This thing that we got grew stronger. Each day we're together. All the way on, we're falling in love. To me, it's perfectly clear. We're falling in love. It's true, this part of the year.
Doesn't that look so, so good? Well, the gang is all here and we're digging in, and as per usual, I don't get great footage after everyone gets here. So here's the soup. You can see the cannellini beans, the noodles in there. So good. I just made a big salad. We had those nachos, of course. We have this yummy little fruit tray, and then I made a really yummy dessert that I'm going to show you on an upcoming video. even though the food was delicious, having my family here for family night each Wednesday night is worth more to me than gold. Moving on to another night's dinner. Have you ever cooked the same thing plenty of times, but one particular time it just tastes so very good that you want it again ASAP? Well, that's what this meal was this week. Oh my goodness, this just tasted so good. I am just making fried cabbage and smoked sausage, but something about it. And so I will say here that it could have been what was in the bottom of the skillet, and I'll tell you about that here in just a second. But here are my smoked sausages that I'm using. I'm using these cheddar Eckrich smoked sausages. I don't usually have this cheddar smoked sausage, and I have a feeling that added to the deliciousness too. But as you saw in the clip there, I had ground up the Italian sausage. This is the day that I was doing the prep work in the kitchen for family night, so the day before family night. And so after I removed that sausage from the skillet, I thought, you know what, I'm going to stick this cabbage in and get it frying. So that gave it a really great flavor, I am sure. So in addition to my cabbage and smoked sausage, I am making mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes with cabbage. And I haven't showed making mashed potatoes on my channel in a long time. So I thought I would throw that in today. I have my potatoes just boiled here in salted water. The water is drained. I'm sticking in some butter. I don't use the same amount every time. I try not to go crazy with the butter, but butter in, and then I'm just going to add some salt to this, and then I am going to use my hand mixer, which is what I always use. I've never owned a potato masher. I use my hand mixer, and I think that gives a really good creamy potato. But the thing that makes potatoes, in my opinion, the mashed potatoes so good is the canned evaporated milk. That, to me, makes the world of difference. Now, I don't always use it, but that is definitely how I make them most and what I prefer. And there you have it, delicious creamy mashed potatoes. I don't measure, I just measure with my heart every time that I make them. Delicious. All right, look at this. It's cooked up to perfection. I like to cook the cabbage down quite a bit, and normally I start off with browning my sausages before I add in the cabbage, but I wanted to do it in reverse because I wanted the cabbage to cook a little bit in the drippings that had come off of that sausage that I had cooked. All right, here, this is almost done. I didn't make anything else to go with this, just the cabbage, the smoked sausage, and the mashed potatoes. It was delicious. Now, actually, I did make something else, but it's kind of dessertish, so I will show you that. It's getting ready to come out of the oven. Look at that. I had cooked up some sweet potatoes. I had baked those earlier on, and we hadn't finished them off, so I made them into a sweet potato casserole, which I have made on my channel before, and I can have that linked below. All right, here it is all served up. And again, we are loving these sweet hot peppers. If you have a Trader Joe's near you, I highly recommend picking these up. This was the perfect addition to go with this delicious, this is basically just a comfort food country supper. Hit the spot. You've heard me say it before, we love a good pan-fried burger, and James had specifically asked for that. So this is his plate. He is on a big onion kick right now. He said pile the onion on with mustard and mayonnaise. I just pan-fried these burgers up, put some good old American cheese on there to melt, served it up with some of those fast food fries that you can do in your air fryer. It makes them taste like something from McDonald's, and some ketchup. That was a quick and easy meal. Always one of our favorites there. This last thing I'm going to show you here was breakfast for dinner. I am making up some French toast. Here's my eggs, scrambling those up in the bowl with a healthy dose of cinnamon and sugar. I pulled from my freezer about a half a loaf of sourdough bread. I'm really big right now for this month using from my freezer and my pantry. So this sourdough bread is turning into French toast for dinner. Now also here in my pan, I have 3 potato cakes frying. Leftover mashed potatoes make delicious potato cakes. Very simple tonight. I just added in some salt, pepper, and some flour to make those. I have made those on my channel, and I can link recipes or actually videos below of me making those. And so here is the French toast. I heated up my delicious maple syrup in the microwave, sprinkled over some powdered sugar. I also fried up some bacon, which I got a little too crispy for our liking, but that's okay. We had French toast, bacon, and 3 of those potato cakes that I made from the mashed potatoes. So good. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've gotten some dinner inspiration for this video. That is my goal, is just to share with you how I've just gotten into my kitchen here and cooked for my family, or most nights just for James and me. And I'm really enjoying this freezer and pantry clean out right now, making meals from what I have, and that's been a lot of fun. All right, you guys, love you bunches. So glad you're here. Subscribe if you've not, and give it a big thumbs up if you like all things dinner time. And I'll see you in the next one. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.